Okay, guys, make sure that you're doing your corrections for this quiz in a colored pen or pencil. And please make sure you're writing everything that I write. Even if you got something correct, make sure it looks just like mine. Okay, number 1, it says a boat traveled 27 miles in 2 hours. At this rate, how many miles will a boat travel in half an hour? Okay, so this is a rate, or this is a conversion. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to set up a word ratio and then a proportion. We're comparing miles to hours. So my first rate that it gives me is 27 miles in 2 hours. And then this I'm changing to 0.5 because it's easier to work with. That's hours. So that means it needs to go on the bottom with the rest of the hours, which means my x goes on top. Okay, to solve proportions, do the same thing always. Okay, you're going to multiply across. So 27 times 0.5. 7 times 5 is 35. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. I have one decimal spot, so I move it once. My answer is 13.5. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to divide by 2. That's my number left over. Divide by 2. 2 goes into 13 6 times. So 2 minus 12. Bring down the 5. Don't forget to put your decimal up top. 2 goes into 15 7 times. Minus 14. Okay, go ahead and keep doing that one by yourself. And then even if you don't know what that decimal converts to as a fraction, even though we should, if you look at your answer choices, only one starts with our answer. Okay, pause and make sure you got this one. Okay, next one. First, I see 2 shapes, so I need to color code them. Okay, so I'm going to color code this side. Squiggle, which means this one's a squiggle. So I'm going to make this one straight, and I'll make this one straight. Okay, the question is asking, what is the length of P to Q? So that means my X is going to be right here. Now that I color coded them and they're facing the same way, I can set up a proportion. And I need to label my proportion. I always put the little figure's numbers on the left-hand side, so I label it L for little, and I put my big figure's numbers on the right-hand side, so I label it B for big. Okay. Now, my X is on the big figure, so let me place that first. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put on the big figure side, X. So I did this one already, and that was my straight green line. So I'm going to color code. I know everything on the bottom has to be a straight green line. Now on top, the only other number on the big figure is this 30, so I have to use the 30. And then do my color code. The 30 was a green squiggle. Okay, now move on to the little figure. The little figure on top has to be a green squiggle. So the number that was a green squiggle was 12. And on bottom was 16. Because that was the straight green line. Okay, now you solve this like everything else. Multiply across. And then divide by the number left over. So it's 30 times 16. And then that answer is divided by 12. Okay. Pause and solve it. All right, let's look at number 3. It says the price of a television was reduced from $250 to $200. Okay, so a price changed. By what percentage was the price of the television reduced? Anytime I see the word percent, I know I have to set up a proportion. And it's going to be a proportion where my 100's at the bottom. It says what percent, so I don't know the percent. So my x goes where the percent goes. Okay, and then since a price changed, that means I use my big minus small over original. So my big number is 250 minus my small number of 200. And I know that it was 250 first. It was my original number because it says from 250. So my 250 goes on the bottom, just like our warm-up yesterday. Okay, so now I'm going to solve 250 minus 200 is 50. Multiply by 100. It's 5,000. 5,000 divided by 250. So sorry, I ran out of room. And I end up getting 250 times 2 is 500. So I do my subtraction, bring down my 0. 250 into 0 is 0. So my answer is A. Okay, pause and make sure you got this all written down. Okay, number 4. This is a super simple percent problem. Okay, and I do know that I graded this incorrectly. I used the wrong answer key. So if you end up getting this question right on the top of your page, on the top of your quiz on the front, I need you to write plus 10, and I'll fix your grades. Okay, Tamara went to the mall and finds a skirt for $32 and a necklace for $18. This and right here is going to mean to add. Okay, it's on your word wall. She has to pay 8% in tax. Tax means to add 2. Okay, so right now we're adding twice. How much will she pay? Okay, that percent means proportion, so I'm going to go ahead and set up my proportion. Here's my proportion, and I know it's a percent proportion, so the 100 goes to the bottom. Okay, my 8% is going to go in the percent spot. I don't know how much tax I'm paying, but I don't know the total yet either. Okay, I need to go back to this add. I need to do 32 plus 18. And that's $50 is my total. Okay, now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and solve my proportion. So multiply across. 50 times 8. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 5 is 40. 400. 400 divided by 100 is 4. Okay, don't forget you can do the division trick if you want. Okay, so that means my x equals 4, but that's not what my question is asking. It's not asking how much the tax is. It says how much money will she pay. Okay, so I need to go back and do my last add. Okay, so I had $50 and I added $4 in tax. So my total is $54. Okay, so if you had all of that already on your paper, go ahead and put a plus 10 at the front of your page. All right, last one. Super easy. You guys could have used your word wall to get these answers whenever you're dealing with percent proportions. You're going to have tax and tip. Both mean to add. It's on your word wall. Okay, you need to use your word wall. Okay, make sure you have all this done. Whenever you're finished, turn it in. You cannot leave with your quiz and then move on to your assignment from yesterday.